Hello dear students, today we will discuss about derivative of a function. And today's question is, what is derivative of y with respect to x if the function is given as y equals to x plus 1 to the power 3 minus x cube, and the options are 3 plus 6x, 3x plus 6, 6x minus 3, 3x minus 6. So what is derivative? So derivative is also known as differentiation of a function. Differentiation of a function. Then here question arises, what is a function? So function means a relationship between two variables. One is dependent variable, another is independent variable. That means when one independent variable, I can say when one dependent variable is expressed in terms of another independent variable, so that is called a function. So function means a kind of relationship between dependent and independent variable, or in other words we can say when a dependent variable is expressed in terms of an independent variable, then we can say that is a function. So we can say a function like this: if y is a function of x, so here y equals to dependent variable, x equals to independent variable, and f equals to functional notation. So here we can say this is a function because here the dependent variable y is expressed in terms of another independent variable, that is called x. So coming to a function can be of two types. Function can be of two types. Okay, so one is single variate function, another is multivariate function. So I am repeating, function is of two types. One is single variate function and another is multivariate function. So what is a single variate function? When there is one dependent and one independent variable. So this is called a single variate function. When there is one dependent and one independent variable, we can tell that is a single variate function. Then what is a multivariate function? When there is one dependent variable and more than one independent variables, so that is called a multivariate function. Remember, one dependent variable and more than one independent variable. So here we can say the example of dependent single variate function. We can write y is a function of x. So this is an example of single variate function. So in multivariate function we can write z is a function of x and y. So here you all can say z equals to dependent variable a functional notation x and y both are independent variables. So here you can say y equals to dependent variable if, again functional notation, and x is independent variable. So here question arises, when we are talking about univariate function or single variate function or multivariate function, then it actually expressed the dependent variable in terms of independent variables. That means dependent variable is depending on the independent variable. So since dependent variable is depending on independent variable, now our purpose is to find out how dependent variable is affected by independent variable. So our purpose is to find out how dependent variable is affected by independent variable. Okay, how dependent variable is affected by independent variable, that means how y is affected by x here and how z is affected by x and y here. So to know the effectiveness or the the interaction between the dependent and independent variable, we have a process or techniques called derivative. Okay, so to find out the interaction between dependent and independent variable, we have a process or technique called derivative or differentiation. Okay, so we have univariate function and multivariate function. So for univariate function we have simple derivative. Okay, so you all can note it down. And for multivariate function we have partial derivative or differentiation. So I am repeating, for univariate function we have simple derivative or differentiation, and for multivariate function we have partial derivative and you can say partial differentiation. So what is simple derivative? So simple derivative means if y is a function of x, so we have to find out delta y with respect to delta x, or you can say dy with respect to dx. That means here we have to find out how much dependent variable is changing. Dependent variable, that is y, is changing due to change in x. Okay, and in case of partial derivative, the matter is something different, like z is a function of x and y. So here we can find out how z is changing due to x, how z is changing due to y. Okay, so this is another matter. So our concern is here simple derivative. Okay, because the question is in simple derivative. Okay, so you can see here that y is here, this is a dependent variable, and x is here, is the independent variable. That means we have one dependent variable, one independent variable. That means this is a univariate function. Univariate function. Okay, so let's write down the function. Function is given y equals to x plus 1 to the power 3. Okay, so we have the function that is y equals to x plus 1 to the power 3 minus x cube. Okay, so this is a kind of, this is a kind of univariate function, because we have one dependent variable, that is equals to y, and one independent variable, that is equals to x. That is, this function is in y is a function of x form. Okay, so let's find out the derivative of a function. So we have the function y is equals to x plus 1 to the power 3 minus x to the power 3. So here the summation rule of derivative can be applied. Summation rule of derivative can be applied. Okay, so what is the summation rule then? So summation rule of derivative can be written as okay, if y is equals to f of x f of x1 plus f of x2, okay, then dy by dx can be written as derivative of f of x1 with respect to dx plus derivative of f of x2 with respect to dx. So this is the summation rule of derivative. If y is a function of x1 and x2, then dy by dx can be written as derivative of x1 with respect to dx and derivative of x2 with respect to dx. So our function is given as this. That means y is a function of x plus 1 to the power 3 minus x cube. So dy by dx can be written as derivative of x plus 1 to the power 3 minus x cube with respect to dx. Okay, so you can tell it as summation or difference rule. That means if it is written plus here, then you can put it a plus or minus and plus or minus. Okay, so we can write it as derivative of x plus 1 to the power 3 with respect to dx minus derivative of x cube with respect to dx. Now here power rule can be applied. So what is power rule of derivative? Okay, so if y equals to x to the power n, so dy by dx equals to n into x to the power n minus 1. So this is the power rule for derivative. Okay, so I can write it here as, so if y equals to x to the power n, then dy by dx equals to n into x to the power n minus 1. So here power is n is 3, so I can write it as, so n means 3 x plus 1 to the power n minus 1, so 3 minus 1, again derivative of x plus 1 with respect to dx. Okay, since this is not a single term, so only x is not here, so I have to find out the derivative of the whole function like this. Then we have to find out the derivative of the inner function, that is x plus 1. Then again here minus is there, so I'll put minus here. Again power rule, so n is 3 x to the power 3 minus 1, so which is equals to 3 into x plus 1, 3 minus 1 is 2 into, so again addition rule will be here, applied here. So derivative of, I can write it as derivative of x with respect to dx plus derivative of 1 with respect to dx, and put it into within a bracket. So minus 3 into x to the power 2, so again I can write it as 3x plus 1 square into dx with respect to dx, that is 1, and derivative of 1 with respect to dx is 0, because the derivative of a constant is 0. Another rule, derivative of a constant function. So if y is equals to c and c is a constant, then dy by dx, that is dc by dx, is always equals to 0. So here 1 is constant, so derivative of 1 is 0. So minus 3x square, again 3 into x plus 1 square minus 3x square, so I'll write it as 3 into a plus b whole square, then x square plus 2x plus 1 minus 3x square, so I'll write it as 3x square plus 6x plus 3 minus 3x square, so 3x square cancel out, so 6x plus 3 is the answer. So my answer is 6x plus 3. So I'll go to the question. So here answer is 6x plus 3. So option A is the answer, 6x plus 3. So dear student, hope you got the answer. Thank you.